What's up, guys? Dom Trimboli here from Refinancer. Today, on the 2nd of August, 2022, we've experienced another RBA interest rate increase. Now, today's magic number is 50 basis points. The fourth consecutive month in a row, we've had the Reserve Bank of Australia lift the cash rate. It's now sitting at 1.85%, and after 4 months of 25, 50, 50, and again today, 50, it's bringing things all the way up to 1.85%. Very, very different and contrary to the statement made by the RBA a few years back about keeping things on hold for a few years. But this is the climate, this is what's happened. And in today's video, we're going to not only unpack what this means for yourself and your family, but what we can expect going forward. So at least buy me dinner before you increase rates on me. Would have been nice, RBA. So let's get into it. Now, as we can see from our friends at The Guardian, cash rate has gone up by 1.85%. The cash rate has gone up from 1.35%, 50 basis point, making it 1.85, 4 months in a row, 4 increases. There was some talk about us following the United States and doing a 75 basis point increase. Didn't happen, which I think is a good thing. But it's hard to say what's going to come following this. And they've spoke about the main reason behind this being to kind of get on top of inflation. They expect inflation to kind of reduce down to 2 or 3% at a later stage. But, at this point, it's anyone's guess. And they're saying that these 4 hikes in a row and the increased cash rate, they haven't seen it since 1994 on the trailing end of the Hawke-Keating period. A lot of us wouldn't remember it, but I'm sure we have parents or even others that will remind us about where interest rates were at that point. And as we can see by the ABC today, have posted a nice table about how rates have looked over the last 32 years. So we can see in 1990, things were all the way up at around 18%. Few years, then they dropped to around a 5% cash rate, hovering around that 5 and 6, 7 mark for the best part of 15 years. And then in 2014, 15, which is when I got into the industry, things were sitting at around the, 2.5%, 3% mark, and then it's continued down. And if we get a bit of a visual on the last 7 years since the 3rd of June 2015, we can see the cash rate was at 2%, went down, sitting at around the 1.5% mark. And then COVID hit us like a ton of bricks, dropped things all the way down to 0 when people were talking about negative cash rates. But that didn't obviously eventuate. And then with the news of inflation, it's just gone bang, bang, bang. And again today, bang. So you can see we're kind of back to where we were a few years ago. To give some context, 4 or 5 years ago, rates are pretty much the same as they are right now. And it's important to see how this is going to look on your home loan. A lot of people kind of have been putting this to the side, thinking, oh, look, it hasn't affected me yet, because, the banks will take probably a week or 2, or even 3 weeks to actually announce this rate change, and then your repayment will come 1 month after that. So you kind of always, like today's news will probably affect you in like a month or 2 months. So it makes it pretty easy to actually just like be reactive to this stuff at a later date. So onto a home loan calculator. Let's use the average Aussie loan of around 500,000 or so. Your interest rate might have been about 3.8% yesterday, maybe with a repayment of around 2,330. Today's increase of 50 brings your rate to 4.3. And as you can see, your monthly repayment is now 2,474. So it's about $130 a month increase, which is massive. It's happened a few months in a row, and we can't underestimate the effect that has on Australian families. And it's pretty normal to kind of be uncertain and really think what to do at this point. So let's look at some numbers in a table to kind of really map this thing out. So yesterday, before the RBA increase, your rate might have been around the 3.8% mark. This is probably the average we're seeing of clients coming to us with their current rate, and your payments might have been $2,330 per month, which means at that kind of rate, you're paying about $19,000 a year in interest. And of course, this is all on the assumption of a $500,000 loan as well. So after today, that 50 basis point increase brings your rate to 4.3. Your payments go up by about 144, and you pay an extra $2,500 or so in interest, because now you're paying about $21,500 in interest per year. So these are big numbers, and these numbers have happened in a few months in a row. So how can we best look at things? And we're telling a lot of our clients that you can't avoid these increases, but what you can do is you can kind of be proactive just to get on the best deal possible. So let's look at a scenario here where you actually were proactive and you refinance to a lender that's doing a $4,000 cashback, and our average client saves about $3,000 a year on interest with a refinance as well. So over 2 years, the last 4 months have been, let's assume there's no more rate increases, and it is very likely there will be, but we can only go on today's knowledge. The 1.75% increase over the last 4 months probably cost you around $8,500 in 1 year. Now, if you were to refinance, you would take advantage of $4,000, and you'd probably save around $3,000 on interest. And of course, there'd be some fees in switching over. So you put yourself $6,100 better off by refinancing just over a 12-month period. So this is kind of mitigating your risk or mitigating your losses, because if you're going to lose $8,500, you're going to claw back $6,100. So your net position of a loss is $2,400. So that number is a lot smaller than the $8,500. It's, certainly, not taken for granted that there might be more increases coming, but money saved is better than money lost. So that's pretty much it, guys. Today, it's been a big announcement. Thankful it's not the 75 basis points, but still 50, still a massive thing to really factor in. We can see all around us that housing's starting to slow down a little bit. And based on the last few years, it's not been sustainable out there. We've seen property going up 10, 15% a year. So, in the back of our head, we all knew something had to be done. So if you want to know what to do, guys, feel free to contact us, like, subscribe, comment. We'll aim to make a few more videos kind of going through, unpacking it all. All the best, guys, and make sure you get on top of this stuff. Leaving it to the side and not doing anything about it is going to cost you and your family thousands of dollars. Take care, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.